Okay.
All right, this is John Hansen in the Iron Asylum with Michael Scott Hartzell. We are at the Powerhouse Gym in Tampa, Florida, and Michael is getting ready for the Tampa Bay Pro Show this weekend, right? But you'll be going in the amateur.
Correct, NPC League.
In the NPC division, right? So how you doing, Mike?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you, John.
Well, it's good to have you on the show because you look like a veteran bodybuilder from your physique, but you've really just started competing this year, but you've been training probably your whole life, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. And you just did the Tampa Bay Classic a couple months ago, and I saw you in that show, and you won your division in the novice and in the masters, but you lost the overall, and then you did the mid-Florida. And how'd you do there?
I did second and third there.
Second and third there, okay. So here we're looking at your picture. There's one of the...
That's my first place of men's novice and first place men's over 40 heavy.
Okay, great. So how many years have you been training now?
I'd say a good 20 years at it, hard heavy.
Wow, okay.
Really focusing on trying to detail and script my body.
Yeah. Now, I've seen a lot of people who train, and it seems like their training sort of reflects their personality. So if they're slow moving, then they train slow, and you train very fast because you have a very sort of a hyper personality.
I do.
And we were watching you here now training back, and you were doing back and arms together, and you were supersetting a lot of stuff. Now, do you only do this pre-contest, or do you do it all the time?
For the most part, I do it all year round. I superset with heavier weights in between. This movement we're seeing here is more of a opposing muscle group. I did my back, and now I'm doing my tricep, and then I'll superset that with a nice pullover here.
Okay.
And it really reflects on trying to squeeze the latimus dermis at the top.
Right. Yeah, you're doing just a lot of like pumping, it seemed like.
Correct.
Because you're so close to the show now, and you're so lean.
Correct.
Yeah. Now it seems like you have a very fast metabolism because every time I see you, you're really ripped. Do you have to diet long for shows?
Oh, I eat clean pretty much all year round. As a personal trainer, I live by the sword, die by the sword.
Mm-hmm. Now, how many years have you been training, Mike, altogether?
20 years, training hard and heavy, eating clean, egg whites for breakfast every morning.
Right.
That's pretty good as far as tilapia goes. It's a mainstay.
And what made you decide to finally compete, to finally get on stage?
I always aspired to be a bodybuilder, and this year was it. My father said, "You're doing it," and I said, "I'm going," and he passed shortly after, so it really pushed me to go on stage, and I wanted to do it for him.
Okay. Yeah, because like I said, it looks like you've had a competitive physique as far as, your physique goes.
Personal trainer, like I said, I try to practice what I preach.
Mm-hmm. So is getting lean pretty easy for you then?
Very much so. I have to struggle to pack on weight. As a matter of fact, on off-season diets, I eat very, very high calories to try to bulk up.
Mm-hmm.
And during preseason, it's just basically back to the same regular diet I have.
Now, what's your diet like in the off-season, or what's your training like in the off-season, I should say? Like, how many days a week are you training?
Off-season is mostly 3-4 days a week, heavy sets, isolating like legs, upper body movements. During pre-contest, I'll try to hit it more often, higher reps, focusing on squeezing and contracting the muscle intended to work.
Okay, are you training the muscles more frequently then when you get ready for a show?
Much more so, yes. To dial in that hardness and vascularity.
Okay, great. And then how about your diet? When do you start your diet before a contest?
People laugh at me at that. That's kind of tricky because, like I said, I eat clean all year round.
Right.
I try to stay pre-contest diet pretty close to it.
Okay, so you don't gain much weight then in the off-season?
Not much. 205 is what I ride about, and then I compete at 198 in light heavyweight.
Oh, okay, great. And you're 42 years old, right?
43.
43, okay.
Correct.
So you still got a fast metabolism at that age. That's great.
I have a lot of cardio from personal training.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed here you're doing the lat pull downs, and you did the whole stack for a few reps, and then you switched it. You did a drop set. Then you changed the angle on it.
I love that angle. It really gives me a good pinch on that lower back. A lot of bodybuilders aspire to get that lower lat angle down on the back, and that really helps dial it in.
Yeah, and I noticed you're not really doing a full range of motion, but you're probably feeling it more in the upper back muscles doing it this way, right?
Oh, yeah. You try that short range motion, it keeps the tension on those lats the whole time, doesn't give you a break, and you get quite the pump and burn, as you can see here.
Yeah. Now, what body parts are you really trying to focus on during the off-season? What do you think you need to bring up?
I'd like to bring up my thighs, my delts, and my back, and my quads a lot more, my hamstrings for sure.
Okay. Yeah, your delts look really good, and your triceps, you got crazy triceps.
Thank you.
Now, what's the reason for supersetting the back with the arm exercises?
Just to create more of a pump and vascularity on the arms. opposing muscle group being the tricep, I can feel free to just pump that thing up and get a good burn on it. I get a lot of compliments on my tries, and I do hit them frequently, as you can see.
Yeah. So do you think like doing these pumping type of workouts as the contest gets closer, it sort of gives you more of a fuller look to the muscles all the time?
Oh, much more so. Dense, hard vascularity, clarity comes out a lot more. As the carbs drop down, even more so, it comes out even more shredded.
Yeah, I remember reading an article way back when I first started bodybuilding. I think it was Cal Scalak who won the Mr. Universe contest, and he said when he gets ready for a show, he always supersets, because then it gives his body more of that pump appearance.
It does.
And then when he gets pumped up for a contest, it seems like his body responds better.
Yeah, it definitely helped me with my training for the show. When I pump up backstage, it helps to really dial it in as far as like blowing everything up all at once and getting up on stage to show it off.
Now here I see you doing the dumbbell rows, and you're doing them a little bit differently also, because you're bringing more of the elbow sort of toward the upper back, you know, instead of doing like toward the lower back.
Row,
yeah.
Correct. At this angle here, I like to try to just stretch as that goes down towards the spinal column and just get a good deep stretch in the middle of the back. And as you can see here, I'm doing this tricep extension, and I'm also doing an angle of a pullover at the same time. So I'll try to angle my elbows back and forth and hit those lats.
Oh, okay.
I'm still doing my lats, but I'm trying to focus the energy on my triceps.
Okay. So that's a good combination on back and triceps.
Yeah, and I've seen you do that on your Facebook page.
You're copying off me. Huh?
I am, stealing from the veterans.
So how many supersets are you doing here? Like how many sets of each superset combination?
It just goes by the flow, how I feel that day. Some days I have it in me, I can just keep going like a Red Bull on wings kind of thing, and some days just don't.
And does this supersetting like this, you're obviously using lighter weights, you don't lose any muscle tissue then when you get ready for a show?
That's the point. I try not to lose too much muscle tissue with the higher reps, but it's mostly focusing on trying to get that pump and vascularity in areas that guys don't normally focus on.
Right.
Where this upper back right here, like I said, untraditional row, as you can see, I'm really focusing on that stretch of the shoulder blades, rhomboids, pulling it up in the rear delts. I'm getting a good stretch all around through there and getting a good vascularity.
Yeah, I could see when you were doing it, it seems like it really affects your upper back more than like the belly of the lats.
Correct.
So now, go ahead.
I was going to say, I do switch up on angles. 1 week I'll do heavy on pull downs, and 1 week I'll do heavy on rows. Try to alternate that difference on the rows.
Okay, all right, great. So now when you diet for a contest, Mike, what kind of diet do you follow? Is it higher in carbs, higher in fat?
Very high in fat, high in protein, lean white proteins, egg whites, tilapias, chicken breasts. Very little saturated fats, but one yolk every morning for sure. As far as red meats go, very little, just here and there sparsely. But pre-contest, it's very, very lean at oatmeal, brown rice, sweet potatoes. Those are my complex carbs I have very sparingly. But for the most part, it's that paleo diet with the leafy greens and broccoli, carrots, and red bell pepper, purple onions, you know, all the good leafy green stuff that are anti-inflammatory type foods, puckering foods I like to call them. Green apples, strawberries, raspberries, those are good foods for pre-contest diet, not overeating.
Okay. So what happens when you eat more carbs? Do you smooth out?
I tend to smooth out, I do. I notice that if I have more carbs, that the striations definitely disappear.
Okay. And do you do that kind of eating then in the off season? More carbs?
Oh yeah, on the off season I will definitely carb up several times through the day. Big bowls of oatmeal for breakfast every morning. Several bowls of rice throughout the day, and sweet potatoes with my meal throughout the day as well. Trying to bulk back up. Like I said, I'm a hard gainer. I have to really eat several thousand calories a day to try to put on mass in the off season. From mid-Florida, I was 188 at 4% body fat, and right here I'm 205. Had to bulk up very hard with juices and lots of simple sugars as honey and my protein shakes and things like that.
Okay. Well, now that you're getting started in the competition scene, what do you think your goal is? I mean, are you planning on going into national level shows eventually?
I don't know. I was told to earn my reps, and I feel I really need to just focus on being able to display my body and look like a professional before I take it to that level. So I'm trying to, earn some reps and hopefully hang out with some veterans like yourself, and you can teach me some more pointers on posing and make me look like a professional. And if I feel like I can do it, I'd love to go on to that level if I can. I just don't want to be on stage and not look like a professional. And you know, hey, look at me. And these guys like, this guy has no clue.
What was the feedback you got from the judges? Because when I saw you in that Tampa Bay Classic a couple months ago, I thought it was really, really close between you and the other guy for the Masters, and then even in the novice too. It was you won your class there, and you just barely lost the overall.
Over the 40. Yeah, it was very close. It was like the judge's decision on the over 40 for that gentleman Donnie. He was very, very shredded. He knew his stuff though. His posing was very, very tight, and he knew how to display his body. So I think the judges made a good call. They made the right decision. He definitely showed his body the right way.
What was the judges' feedback after that show?
They critiqued me on, they loved my physique. They had very pleasing lines. It's inspired me to learn how to display my body better. They said they wanted to see more adductors on my legs, more quadriceps, things like that, which I did not display very well at the show.
Okay. So what was the thing that really got you on stage finally, Mike? Because I know you've been training for a long time and many years. And
yeah, I had tried several years to get on stage. Finally, with my father in his final few days, said, you better do this or else I'm going to come back and haunt you. And I said, I'm going to do this for you, Dad. When he passed, I went up the stage and I was just a big ball of tears. I could barely hold it in, but I loved every moment of it. I couldn't imagine my life not doing it now.
So he was always a big supporter of you and doing the bodybuilding?
Oh yeah, every time I'd see him, he'd say, oh, Mike, your legs are as big as my waist. Your arm is as big as my leg. Oh my God, you're getting bigger and bigger.
Right.
So yeah, he was definitely a big supporter of my physique. He was ex-military, and retired military was, you know, a big thing for him to try to work on your physique even in his retirement age.
Oh, really?
I think that's what made him so, you know, with his longevity. He was 75 when he passed, and he was like a dinosaur.
Right. So what's the plan for this year then, Mike, after this show this weekend, the Tampa Classic?
Ooh, that's a good question. I was asked several times not to tell my plans, but I do have something coming up very, very soon after the Tampa Pro-Am. I'm not going to tell you just yet.
Okay.
But right after that is the Hurricane Bay from another Tim Gardner production, and I'd love to go to that one, if you're hearing that, Tim.
That's in October, right?
Correct.
So you excited about being on stage this weekend?
Very much so. I got the jitters like a little schoolgirl. And if you can tell right there, I'm just so overwhelmed with anxiety. Just, you know, it's such a rush to be on stage.
Yeah.
I can't wait to be on there again.
Well, we shot this video like over a week ago, and you definitely look like you're in condition here. So I can imagine you're going to be even tighter when you get there.
I feel tighter and I feel leaner already, and I still have several days to go. So let's do this. Bring it on.
So are you decreasing your calories now then as the show gets closer?
I'm cutting calories very much so, and I did drop a lot of cardio this time for a pre-contest and focus on 2-a-days and squeezing and contraction.
Yeah.
Here I'm posing, I'm just burning off lots of energy, and it does burn off a lot of energy just posing. So those guys think posing was a waste of time, you better start getting on it. It does. It'll burn off some extra calories if you're trying to get lean.
Right. So obviously, you know, cutting the cardio's helping you fill out a little bit as you go into the show then, right?
I believe so, yeah. That high metabolism, like I said, I didn't realize I had such a high metabolism, so I kind of dropped the cardio this year.
Right.
My own decision. I think it really paid off for me. I'm looking and feeling a lot beefier this time.
All right, Mike. Well, we wish you the best of luck this weekend as you get ready for the show, and we wish you the best of luck in your career. I think you got a very, very promising physique, and hopefully you'll keep going and maybe even do the Masters Nationals in Pittsburgh.
If I can get some support from you, I will.
Yeah, I think, you know, working on the posing a little bit, and you're going to be there.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right, Mike. Thanks for joining us on In the Iron Asylum.